Hello everyone and welcome back to the series. We're here in Imola in Italy, the home of racing, for the 7th round of the series. The cars are now heading out for their formation lap before we go racing for 5 laps around the famous Imola circuit, and once again it is Oscar on pole. He's gotten 4 poles in 5 races but only 2 wins from those 4 poles, and he is 3rd in the standings, trying to get back that championship lead. And in 2nd position we have Avery, who is at the bottom of the standings but always qualifies quite high, so he has plenty of potential, but usually some mistakes creep in the races. 1.1 seconds off pole position in a hectic qualifying, and it's Lottie X on his 2nd race ever in 3rd position, 2.5 seconds off pole, so just showing how impressive the time was from Oscar there. Greenius in 4th position, his 2nd race also, and a good effort from him to get higher up the order. And Miko, one of a few drivers to get a special livery for the Italian race, he starts in 4th position for this one, and then behind him is Ara Dododa. He's been looking forward to this weekend for a while. He has excellent pace around here, as he proved in practice, but he unfortunately went off in qualifying and wasn't able to show that true potential. So it's 6th position for him, and in 7th position is Burning. He's been caught up in a lot of incidents in these previous races, so a nice clean race will be what he needs to get him back into the championship picture and moving up that order. He sits 12th in the standings right now, and behind him is the championship leader, or tied at least, Blazin, in 1st position with 82 points. He also had a bit of a shocking qualifying, and so he'll be starting down the order in 8th position. And then in 9th position is Wizard, another poor qualifying from him. He made a mistake early on, was stuck in the gravel. Same with Bones, he starts in 10th for today's race. Another driver that's been making a few too many mistakes, which is what's been holding him back from some otherwise decent driving. And then we have Farm Boy returning to the grid behind him. It's been a while since he's raced in a race, but he's back and ready to go, starting in 11th for this one. And then Philman comes around, the creator with over 60,000 followers, bringing up the rear of the field for today's race. Let's see if it goes a little bit better than last time. So all the drivers now getting into position on the grid. Looks like there's a bit of a mix-up at the back there, but they're all in the correct positions now. The race will begin in 3 beeps time. And we're racing in Imola. It's a good getaway from Oscar, and he immediately disappears down the road. Some squabbling at the back as they go around that little kink there. Greenius already passed Lottie X into the podium positions as they head towards the first corner. And is that someone dipping a wheel into the grass there? Oh no, and Lottie X goes straight into the back of Greenius, and he spins across the track, and Miko also makes contact. And there's another car, I think it's Wizard, in the back there. 4 cars total involved in that one. Everyone else seems to have made it through safely without damage, but there's 2 cars stranded in the middle of a road there. Greenius trying to get off the road, but there is a red flag called because of an obstruction to the track, so racing will be redundant. And it looks like Greenius is the only car to sustain race-ending damage from that. Yeah, there's Lottie X able to continue and get back to the pits and reset for the red flag restart. Let's have a look at what happened down into corner 1. Lottie X just not really looking ahead of him, perhaps trying to watch for cars behind, and he plows into the back of Greenius, who then takes Miko out in a sort of chain reaction, and then that leaves those 4 cars stranded. Here's Lottie X's perspective, and yeah, just too late on the brakes, not watching what's ahead of him, and he rips the rear wing off and then causes the whole pile-up. That'll definitely be a penalty of some sort heading Lottie X's way for that one. Here's Miko trying to avoid the carnage, goes to the left, but just isn't able to go fully around because Burning is there, and then he gets hit, but he's able to continue for the red flag restart. So we'll start this one a second time with all the cars but Greenius for another 4 laps. And it's an especially good start from the front too, and Avery seems to have gotten a bit of a better launch, and he's passed Oscar already. Into the lead goes Avery with his Senna Tribute livery there, as all the cars rocket down towards corner 1. As we head towards corner 1. Oh, is Oscar going to go for a move? Oh, that was so nearly contact there. Oh no, and Ido is flipped upside down. He goes into the gravel. And there's another incident at the back, but it looks like Oscar's already challenging for the lead to get it back from Avery, who got it off on the restart. And he is cleanly through into the lead. Avery drops down to 2nd position, and behind him is Bones and Blazin. Bones loses control and spins into the gravel. That's race over for him, and Farm Boy has also gone off earlier in the lap, so that's 2 more cars out of this race, And then there's Burning, who seems to have floor damage there, followed closely by Wizard and Lottie X, who were the two cars that got caught up in the incident at the first corner. They'll be wanting to clear the damaged Burning as soon as they possibly can so that they don't lose too much race time and can somewhat recover what's been a pretty difficult race for them so far, as Lottie X also trying to get past Wizard in the meantime, and Burning goes deep, unable to stop his car, and that'll let Wizard and Lottie X through into 5th and 6th position each. And is that Filmman going deep? He's made a lot of positions in the 2 starts that we've had so far. He's up to 4th now and was in 3rd before Miko got past him. And there's Lottie X going past Wizard. Contact made as he went through. Will Wizard be able to get him back at the chicane? We hop on board with him to ride along, and through the chicane we go. And there's someone off there, that's Filmman, starting to head backwards in the field after the race has settled down a little bit, and he drops down to 6th position now. It still would be his best finish after he DNF'd in the last race in Barcelona. Oscar comes around and starts the 3rd lap. Something happened to Avery because he was right up there and now he's in 8th. Must have made a mistake somewhere, but we'll look at that later because Filmman is trying to get past Wizard here for 5th position after having that mistake at the chicane. And he's trying to go up the inside, but Wizard's pitting, and he almost puts Filmman into the wall. A close call there, but Filmman is able to escape, and he'll get past Wizard because he is in the pits now. Wizard must have sustained some sort of damage, as has Burning here, as we can see. His floor almost completely ripped off, so he'll dive into the pits and get that repaired and then be back out on the track in no time. Let's have a look at what happened at the start here. Riding on board with Ido, who just got passed by Burning, and is now going to try to get past him in the first corner by braking later, and he does get around, but then Burning seems to have a snap of oversteer, and obviously that sends Ido barreling into the gravel in a very dramatic crash there, and everyone will go past. That's race over for him. Very unfortunate because he's been looking forward to this one for a while. Here's Burning's perspective, and he just has a bit of a snap in the corner. Unfortunately, that's not really fair on Ido, so he'll be getting a penalty for that. And then Bones gets up the inside, and Burning goes off the track. And that must be where he got his floor damage there, trying to get back on the track over the curb. And a similar thing happened to Farmboy, just forced a bit wide and not able to keep his line on the track, and ends up in the gravel and unable to get out. And then here's Avery in 2nd position right after the start, and he just has a spin, as also Bones spinning in the background there, and then everyone's able to get by, and that puts Avery right at the back of the field. So another unforced spin for Avery sends him right to the back after being in the pointy end of the race. He'll be able to get back going, but that's a shame for him. He'll have a lot of work to do if he wants to get back into a competitive position in this race and into the championship battle. There was a point in time in this race where Miko dropped all the way down to 9th or 10th or something like that, but he's back up into 3rd in the podium positions. Last race he was battling with Ido for the lead of the race, and on the last lap they came together and he lost his chance to win his first race. But today presents another opportunity for him. He's 3rd right now and he's got a lot of track to gain, but he's definitely got the pace to do it. And as that Lottie X into the gravel in the first corner, and Filmman comes charging in, unable to get through as Lottie X blocks the track, but he'll have a much better run out of this corner, and Filmman will zoom past Lottie X and gain 4th place. He's now moving his way back up to where he was and on track for his best result yet. Burning has just exited the pits and he's right on the tail of Avery, who's still quite a far way back from where he wants to be, but recovering ever so slowly. And now Burning will try to make it even harder for Avery and make a move on him as we head towards the hairpin. Avery brakes a little bit early and Burning opts to go for the inside line. Where is Avery on exit? Burning is just ahead of Avery, getting the move done in the hairpin. But Avery is not going to let that one go easily. He is right behind him and he pops out of the slipstream and onto the outside to make the move. He tries to go around the outside and roars around the outside of Burning, who has a snap on exit, and Avery reclaims the 7th position there. Meanwhile, Oscar continues his Sunday stroll around Imola, starting the 4th lap now. He's had no competition ever since he got away from the start when Avery spun. He's had a pretty uneventful race, but Wizard has had a very interesting race, and so has Lottie X. They've been around all the drama so far as we head towards the last corner, and Avery is now not too far off the back of them, working his way back up through the field. Both Wizard and Lottie X not too far ahead of him, and he'll be making the move as soon as possible. Oh no, and is that LodiX slowing? LodiX dives into the pits, and there's been plenty of cars receiving damage and plenty of cars using that pit stop to repair their car to their advantage. Miko having a massive lock up there, you can see the smoke. He's just heading into the hairpin now. So it seems the top three, the gaps between them are way too big for any of them to make up in the 2 laps. So unless one of the drivers makes a mistake, we're going to have a very familiar podium to what we've had before on the series. Oscar, Blaze and Miko showing why they're at the top of a championship. Consistency is key in a championship like this. Blazen will retain his championship lead in this race despite Oscar winning, but he's going to need to find an answer for Oscar eventually, because if he keeps on just roaring away like this, then that lead isn't going to last long. Philman now heading around the track, going off the track in his best performance yet. All he's got to do is get this car around into the finish. The top three are too far away for him to do anything about it, so he'll just have to settle for 4th, but I think he'll be happy with 4th after what happened in the last race. You just got to take it one step at a time in this series, and he's doing exactly that, making himself at home. Oscar now starting the final lap of the race. It's been quite cruisy for him. Up at the front, other than the start of course, but everyone else is to struggle a bit around the Imola track here today. It's been a bit of a difficult one, plenty of cars making mistakes, plenty of incidents happening. Oh, and Burning proving our case right there. He gets it all wrong at the chicane and ends up upside down with his floor completely ripped off. He's had his floor ripped off twice today, and LodiX only barely avoids him. He's sitting right on the racing line, but because it's the last lap, we won't red flag it. We'll just warn the cars as they come through not to crash. It's only Avery who still has to come through, and everyone else. And Wizard trying to rejoin here. He must have gone off. Oh, and there's contact. An unsafe rejoin by Wizard. And there's a massive puncture on the front of LodiX's car there. And he's also got a bit of front wing damage. Wizard will just drive on by like nothing happened. But that's definitely a penalty coming his way come the end of this race. So we have 3 cars now with penalties looming. It's LodiX, Burning, and Wizard there. All of the yellow and blue cars. Oh, and Avery's gone off. Avery must have had a crash somewhere earlier in the lap. He's out of the race in 8th. Fortunately for him, all 3 of the cars ahead have had a 1-place penalty, so he'll be boosted up to 5th. Let's just have a look at what happened coming around the corner, and just a little bit too much curb, and into the wall he goes. Whack of contact, and that suspension totaled, and his race over. Oscar now coming around through the last couple of corners. Is the Max Verstappen of this series. He wins, and he wins again. Oscar from pole position, coming around the last couple of bends, is going to take another victory in this series, but not the championship lead, not quite yet. Blazin still holds the championship lead, but today Oscar will win the race in Imola. 1st position once again for him, and then here comes Blazin coming around the last couple of corners. He'll get 2nd position to maintain his championship lead. And then not too far behind Blazin is Miko, who will continue his amazing streak of podiums, only ever missing out on the podium once. Here he comes. 3rd position for Miko, and then a little bit further back is Philman, his best result yet, being able to come through from last on the grid, through the chaos and carnage, to finish 4th for this race. 8 places gained for Philman, and 12 points to his name in his late start to the championship. He'll come home in 4th. An impressive race for him, and one he'll remember for a while. Over the line he goes, and then last but not least we have LodiX, who still has a penalty looming over his head for the initial red flag at the start of this race, and that sent him from 3rd on the grid all the way down to the back, but he's been able to recover in what has been a very difficult race for LodiX, and he'll be able to come home in 5th position, which will become 6th due to the penalty. Still not bad after the way this race started, and he's only got a couple more corners to go. Not as good as the podium in Barcelona, but again, that was a very crazy race which allowed for that to happen. So he'll still be at the bottom lot of a championship, only because he hasn't had as many races as the other drivers. He crashed on both restarts and then crashed once again with Wizard, and he pitted like twice in this race, but in the end he will come home 5th ahead of most drivers, showing what's important in this series, which is survival. Well, that's it for today's race. It's another victory for Oscar. He claims 25 points. Second in the standings, only 8 shy now of Blazin, who leads the championship and finishes second in this race. Another podium for Miko in third. He's had 4 of them now, more than anyone else. And then Philman comes home in fourth, his best result yet. Avery, with his special Senate tribute livery, will get 5th despite finishing 8th on the road, because Lottie X, Wizard and Burning all received a 1-place penalty during this race. It's been quite a wild one, plenty of incidents for those 3 drivers in particular, the yellow and blue ones. Bones gets 9th position in this one, going off in the second restart. He'll still get 2 points for his troubles, and then Farmboy behind him will get 1 point in 10th, the last of the points paying positions. A return to racing for him, not going exactly as planned. Same with Ardo. This was supposed to be his weekend, but unfortunately he was taken out on the first lap. He gets 11th position in the end. And then Greenius also taken out, scoring 0 points on this one. Blazin remains the leader of the championship, but Blury loses it. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to attend today's race, but he's still third in the standings and not too far behind. Blazin is the first to crack 100 points as well, with Oscar not too far behind. Miko gets up to 4th position after being in 6th last time, 2 positions gained for him. Ido in 5th after an unfortunate race, and then Seth in 6th, not a part of the series anymore, so he'll continue to drop down the standings. Penn Striker in 7th, unable to make it for this race, and then Bones remaining in 8th position. Avery is almost there, onto the next page. He's only 4 points shy of Bones with 44, aided greatly by the penalties in this race. Apex also unable to make it to this one, he remains in 10th. Burning and Wizard in 11th and 12th, followed by Farmboy in 13th, all not having the races that they wanted. And then Lottie X in 14th, gaining a position, trying to climb his way back up after his second start in the series. And then Philman gets onto the page with 16th after his 4th position. 13 points to his name now, and I'm sure he'll continue to move up the standings as the season goes on. Well, thanks for coming along for this race, and if you don't want to miss the next one, which is at Silverstone, you can subscribe so you don't miss any of the races coming up. There's some interesting ones coming in the future. We have Monaco still to come, and Bathurst later in the season, and then the championship will be decided at Abu Dhabi later on. Make sure you comment below who you think is going to take the title, but until then, I'll see you for the next one. Goodbye.